history.
Second trip to the state championship.
Yep.
And the luckiest run in history, too.
Well, can't deny that. But, hey, we'll take it. The ball just bounced our way to be at home the whole playoff series except for the final game.
And going into the season, to this day, I still think that team should have won about 8 games.
Right.
And I went to that scrimmage at Arkadelphia. I think it was Crossit or somebody, and sat there and watched the scrimmage, and I'm thinking, because I remember sitting in the press box at Henderson, and I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way in hell this team's winning more than 8 games, and they'll be lucky to win 8. I thought 6 or 7 was the high water mark.
Well,
I had no thought of them playing for state. None.
But you dropped the game to Arkadelphia in the regular season. You dropped the game to Nashville in the regular season.
Yeah, the Nashville game was a boat race.
But then, then we meet Arkadelphia again.
In a quarterfinal game.
In the quarterfinal game. And everybody was talking about, Arkadelphia, beat Mena in the regular season. But, by that time, you and I both agreed Mena was a different team than played Arkadelphia
the
first time. And I was pretty confident that Mena was going to beat Arkadelphia because Arkadelphia was thinking they were facing the same Mena they faced in the regular season. It just wasn't the same team. I mean, Mena had stepped up to the next level, without a doubt. That was an amazing
If
season.
Jackson Doherty hadn't got kicked out of that game at Arkadelphia, they might have won the game.
That's a good point. That's right. Jackson got kicked out of that game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yeah, sure he did. And they just didn't play well. The timing wasn't good. It just wasn't.
In the weekend, in the Nashville game, they just went out there and laid the egg of the year.
Nashville with Mena and Nashville with a lot of other teams.
Nashville's always been kryptonite.
Nashville has this history of just pounding the ever-living crap out of you. And a lot of teams go in conceding that Nashville's going to beat them, and so they do. I mean, just because they've got that history. Mena could have played in Nashville better, but they did. Mena kind of laid an egg on them that year. But they almost always did. But teams like Nashville have a way of getting in other guys' heads.
True.
They really do.
It's like, remember the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks?
Yes.
Remember the line in the movie, why do the Yankees always win?
Right. Yes. Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah, because they can't keep their eyes off the pinstripes, and they go, no, the Yankees win because they have Mickey Mantle.
Right.
That's pretty much the same thing with Nashville.
Yeah,
people can't keep their eyes off the star.
Right.
Dallas Cowboys, enough said.
Yeah.
Oh, look what we're behind. We're behind a motorhome and cars.
That's Nashville mystique, man. It's just, I mean, you wish you could establish yourself that way, but once one team does, I mean, it's hard to follow that. That's how teams get on top and they stay on top. Because once you got 5-10 years of just dominating a bracket, other teams are coming into you thinking, well, yeah, we'll lose this one, and they do.
Nashville, I think, is the Arkansas equivalent to Texas high school football.
Yes.
Can I make that as a fair argument?
That's a fair argument. It is. Yes. They've got a very active fan base. They have a great alumni support network.
Yes.
They don't have any trouble with funds. They got development funds. They do a good job of making sure their players are well seasoned. I mean, Nashville, these kids start playing football in Nashville, planning to play high school football when they're peewees.
Yeah.
They keep the teams together. I mean, it's a whole program.